Hey, what's going on, everybody? Timmy, aka Echo Side Fiend here. Sunday afternoon here in Grand Rapids. Really glad it's the weekend. I had a long work week. Covering a guy's route right now that's off for, he had rotator cuff surgery, so I'm covering his route. He's supposed to be back in the beginning of next month, so I don't know if when he gets back he'll just take right over, or if I'll be with him for a while to kind of help him transition back into it, because he's been gone for a while. He's been gone for like 3 or 4 months. So, but his route's pretty cool. I'm getting a lot of experience, a lot of customer service experience. Learning, just like where to park, because I was going in blind at a lot of these spots. Get to a spot and be like, a customer and be like, okay, this looks like a good place to park. I think I go in here. So figuring all that out, so if I end up skipping other people's routes too, I'll kind of have that mindset already, so that's pretty cool. And his route also Friday takes you all the way up into the Manistee National Forest. It's really cool. You end up almost 2 hours away from the plant. It's really beautiful up there. It's white cloud. Is about as far as we go. I mean, the Manistee National Forest goes a lot farther than that, but the farthest stop that you get to is this little tiny diner, just like a little mom and pop diner. And you go back in the kitchen, and it's all just regular old cookware that you just have at a house. It's really cool. I didn't have a chance to eat there, but I think I might go up there sometime and eat it. It smelled really good, looks really good. So on the way back, you end up having about an hour and a half drive from your last stop back to the plant. So this past Friday, I was on my way back, and after I'm all done, I'll throw on some music. I bring my Bluetooth speaker with me, and before that, I'm usually concentrating on what I'm doing, where I'm going, because I still don't know the route real well. I've only been doing it for a few weeks. But I'm on my way back, and so I threw on some ICP on my Bluetooth speaker, and I just got to thinking, with excuse me, with the gathering coming up, and then not too long after that, Hallowicked, and Hallowicked is my fucking favorite event of the year. I go every year, and that's every year. That's what I'm looking forward to. As soon as the one is done, I've already counting down the days till the following year. And I don't go to the gathering. I've never been a big camping guy. The first couple obviously weren't even camping. And me and a buddy of mine, we were going to go to the first one. It was in Novi. It wasn't a very long drive, probably an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours from Grand Rapids. Not too bad. We just we talked about it, and then we just ended up not going. So as I was thinking about both of them, though, I was kind of starting to think, which one is the bigger event, the bigger Juggalo event, the more important event, however you want to word it. And I want to state that there's no right or wrong answer to this. I'm just curious as to what anybody else who might watch this, any other Juggalos, might think about the topic. So I'm not saying anybody's right or wrong. If somebody says the gathering is more important, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just curious as to what those two events, what the majority of Juggalos, not even the majority, just what Juggalos feel about the two. I'm going to preface this with my opinion by saying that this is going to be very biased on my part, because I have never been to the gathering. I am 100% positive it's awesome, and it's probably super fun, and I can't believe that I haven't gone, but like I said, I'm just not a camping guy. I was going to go last year. As soon as they announced Wizard of the Hood, I was like, well, I guess I'm going to my first gathering, and I had a shit ton of money set aside for it, and then me and my ex-girlfriend broke up, and I used the money that I had saved to pay off a credit card. We had taken a trip to Boston a year or two before that, and I was still owed quite a bit on that, and I was like, I gotta pay that off, or once I get into this apartment here, I was going to be not in serious trouble, but struggling for a while, so had to skip the gathering, had to adult, so to speak. So I haven't ever been to a gathering, but I've been to 98, 99, 2002, and 2004, and onward for Hallowicked. So as far as I'm concerned, like I said, I'm going to say Hallowicked to me is the more the bigger event. The reason being, I would say ICP is so connected to Halloween. I mean, even when I first got into them, I didn't know anything about Hallowicked. at the point in time when I got into them, and right off the bat, I was like, dude, these guys are awesome. It's like freaking like a horror movie on a CD, you know. And growing up, I grew up in the country, so to speak, only about 12 miles outside of Grand Rapids. But you know, it's the country. You know, it only took 10 minutes or so to drive to downtown, but you know, we were in the country. My folks still live there in the house that I grew up in, so you know, the road I lived on had trees all around, and you know, it was like a wooded street, you know, and to me it just the fall, that time of year was always just so cool. You know, the feeling in the air, the chill, you know, and knowing that Halloween is coming up, you know, pretty soon, and I always loved it. My dad, it was and still is a big fan of Halloween. The holiday, not the movie. Oh, he likes the movie too, but that's what I was getting at, is that he kind of got me into that kind of thing. You know, like growing up, you know, we had he always had Halloween parties for me and my friends, and you know, we just did stuff like that. Just don't bother the camera, okay? And then obviously I have a black cat, you know. I love black kitties. Yeah, I just always loved that time of year. I always loved, you know, looking forward to having the Halloween party that, you know, my folks would throw for me, and just that time of year in general. There's just something about it I've always liked, and so now I always, you know, incorporate it with, well, Hallowicked's coming up. You know, I know I'll be going to Detroit and meeting up with a bunch of my friends, and we have a couple that come from Canada every year. My buddy Tom comes from England every year to go to Hallowicked since 2009, I think. 9. I think it was the first year he came. And then I guess this year he's not going to. He just moved into an apartment. He got married, and him and his wife got a flat, as he calls it. So I guess they're not coming this year, but which will be kind of weird. But so, you know, we had people come from all over. The group that I go with, my friend Ivory, you know, knows everybody. You know, and so we were there and hanging out with everyone, and it's just so much fun, you know. And it's just every year it's the one thing that I cannot wait for. And again, like I said, I just feel that ICP being so connected to Halloween, and that you know, the holiday and the imagery and all that, I think, like, makes it really important. And the fact that they've been doing it so long, since 92 or whatever, 93, whatever it was the first one, and they've been doing it every year since, you know. And I think it's just that's the one to me that, like, really should stand out, and does to me stand out more. And so you know, the other thing I kind of put to it is, like, when you think of Halloween, this is me anyway, and I think this is the same for a lot of people. When you think of Halloween, you mostly think of the countryside, you know, and that's like where I grew up. You know, I always felt like that was, you know, people would decorate their houses and you'd see jack-o'-lanterns everywhere, and you generally think of the countryside. You know, like, I always envision dirt roads and maybe a farm with a pumpkin field, and maybe a fence along it with jack-o'-lanterns sitting on the fence posts or whatever. But if you think of the city, for me anyway, I think of Detroit. You know, with the Crow, you know, having taken place in Detroit, and then ICP and Esham and Twisted and all that, you know, being from that area. And so, like, for me, when you think of Halloween, if you're going to think of a city, it's Detroit is the first one that comes to mind. You know, so then with ICP doing, you know, Hallowicked, you know, this concert based on Halloween night in Detroit, or one year I went, I think it was 2002, they did it in Royal Oak, but, you know, still the same thing. That to me, like, you know, speaks volumes about, like, how they feel about Halloween, and how they're, you know, dedicated to it and keeping that tradition going. And so, you know, there was a couple of years ago too, we me and Tom, we were doing the VIP, I guess it was the one that came with the Marvelous Missing Link medallion, and we met two guys that were there from Wales. They had come, they were vacationing in the U.S. I think they were in Florida, and then just for Hallowicked, they flew up that morning, went to Hallowicked, they did the VIP, and they stayed the night, and they went back to Florida the next day, and so it just kind of shows how important, I guess, that is. And I know people come from all over the world for the gathering as well, but just for one concert, and people are making that trip, and so I think that's pretty cool. And then as far as the gathering, again, I've never been, so I can't say a whole lot about it, but I know that it's awesome. I know that it's cool. I know a ton of people that go every year. My friend Ivory goes every year. My buddy Tom from England, he would go every other year, but he would always come to Hallowicked every year. The gathering, I guess, to me is more like, it's a festival. It brings, it's 3 days, tons of different performers. Again, not implying that it's not important. I know it's a homecoming for a lot of people, but to me, it's more of an attraction. Whereas Hallowicked, I look at, that's a fucking event. Like, if you're not there, you're fucking missing out. And I know a lot of people would probably say the same thing about the gathering, but so yeah, I just between the two, I've always felt that Hallowicked is the more, I don't want to say important, but the bigger event. They're both very important in the Juggalo culture. And for me, too, having never gone to the gathering, I've always said, that I'm going to go, and then the year comes and I'm like, I'm not going to go. And then I'm always, the thought in the back of my mind is like, well, I go to Hallowicked every year, so I more than make up for it, So that's kind of the mentality that I would always have. I can skip the gathering because I go to Hallowicked, so... so I'm just kind of curious what other people think about it. I know I was rambling a little bit. I have a tendency to do that, but I think I got my point across. So wondering what other people, what other ninjas have to say about it. And there's actually a DC Fago guy. If you're watching, I'd really like to hear your opinion on this. I know you got an opinion on everything, so I'd like to hear how you feel about that. And Crazy McCormick too. I know you're very opinionated. I'd like to hear what you have to say about it. So. And anyone else, too. If you make a response video or talk about it in the comments or whatever, that'd be awesome. So I think that's about all I got today. So, Hecate, you want to say goodbye? Huh? No? Don't have anything to say? Usually she's got a lot to talk about. So, all right. So, well, thanks for watching. Appreciate any views, any support. I'm still trying to, I know I say this every video, I'm trying to keep up on this. Right now with work, I'm very busy during the week. So I'm going to try to keep going. I've got more videos to cover, so until then, this is Timmy, aka Echo Side Fiend. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.